No, it's lyrics are going up on the screens. I will. Um, right. Good morning. Welcome to the UU community of Halifax. My name is Ben Robbins, and I am glad to be your minister. We offer a place where whatever is going on in your life or in the world, you can come to reground yourself, reopen yourself, connect with or search for what matters most. We find our hearts, we find our care for everyone, we find our courage. We work for a world where everyone has a place where they feel at home. Today's theme is artificial intelligence. I'm going to talk about how we are playing with powerful forces and we might be flying too close to the sun. I find that people who show up in this community tend to have good imaginations. We can imagine a world different from today, and we can act accordingly. Exponential technological change can happen faster than you might think. So today I am asking you to bring your imaginations. Please see the announcements in the order of service and note that today at noon begins the fall session of Building Your Own Theology right here. And this coming Saturday we have a work party from 1 to 5. So you might be, sorry? Yeah, thank you, Pam Berman, for coordinating it. And so see Pam if you'd like more info. We might tidy the yard or do some cleaning indoors and fix up some things. Thank you to our volunteers and staff who make our Sunday services possible. We have Riley Friesen on tech and Tristan Kellaway on keys. And a special thank you today to Tracy, Sabine, and Deb for organizing Friday's youth event. We played Capture the Flag in Point Pleasant Park. We had about 10 youth and 7 parents. So thank you so much for that. Yeah. And we now have Margaret Galbraith with our land and climate acknowledgements.
Good morning. We acknowledge that we are meeting here today and online in the territory of the Mi'kmaq, the unceded ancestral home for thousands of years. The peace and friendship treaties of the 18th century remind us that we are all still treaty people. And so in keeping with our UU principles, we commit ourselves to collaboratively move toward truth, reconciliation, and equity for all the peoples occupying these lands, the indigenous who have been here the longest, the black and the brown who have come here since, and all the other marginalized people experiencing systemic oppression in our communities. As UUs, we are also called to address the human-caused climate crisis threatening all life on Earth. As you all know, and may have personally experienced, the changing climate has visibly been affecting life here in Nova Scotia, especially over the last 3 years. And around the world, there have been catastrophic natural disasters, many that would not have been nearly as catastrophic if not for the effects of the changing climate. This was the weekend for people around the world to come together to demonstrate their concerns for these changes and their desire for government action to address the issues. Here in Halifax, we had a Seniors for Climate event on Friday and a Carnival for Change rally on Saturday, both with the theme, Draw the Line.
Where was not the march, but the gathering?
It was all at Grand Parade yesterday.
Oh, I didn't know.
Yeah. Yesterday's event had information and speakers on several issues: the local housing crisis, Indigenous rights in Mi'kma'ki, workers and migrant workers' rights here, peace for the Palestinians, and how the climate affects it all. I felt that it was very unfortunate that very few people attended either event, except for the organizers and friends and just a few other people. It felt as if the era of mass demonstrations, at least here in Halifax, was over. But is it? Several hundred people demonstrated the weekend before in protest of the Israeli team being part of the Davis Cup tennis match series being played in Halifax. The horrors of the Palestinian situation have aroused the passion of many people, far more so than the day-to-day issues here in Nova Scotia, much less than that amorphous thing called climate change, which we know causes wildfires, but they're mostly elsewhere, and drought, but we can manage that. It's not such a big issue here. Sudden heavy downpours, but they're very localized. And we haven't had any hurricanes this year at all, yet. The situation in Palestine is gut-wrenching, and public demonstration is called for. But the climate is changing everywhere, and even in the Middle East, and it is truly global. We can't forget about it. We need to keep pushing our governments to act to both mitigate the coming effects and help us adapt to what is happening now. Big demonstrations are great for feelings of solidarity, but we are all still in this together. We still need to talk to our neighbors, to write letters and emails, and talk to our elected representatives.
Thank you, Margaret. I'm Pam Berman. I'm the service leader this morning, helping Ben today. Our chalice lighting words are by Elizabeth Strong. Today, we celebrate a dream awakening. Today, we worship with renewed hope in our hearts. Today, we act on an audacity of hopes and dreams for the future. Today, we prepare for a world of humane relations. Let us worship together and celebrate a dream awakening. Our opening hymn is number 347, Gather the Spirit. Please rise in body or spirit. It's in the gray hymnal, and it'll also be up on the screens. We now have time for joys, sorrows, and complex truths. We bring our hearts into this sacred space of community and open them up to each other and for each other, so that those of us who carry pain might be comforted by the presence of a loving community, and that those of us who are happy might share their joy and see it multiply in others. And for those who carry complex truth, they might find a welcoming space to process the meaning in your life. This is our communal well. It holds all of our stories. The water can remind us of all the connections of life and to the earth itself. If you have a joy, sorrow, or complex truth in your heart to speak into community, we invite you to share and place a stone into the well. You can also place a stone in silence, but if you're willing to speak, come near the well so that those on Zoom can see, and I will give you the mic.
Thank you. Since no one else is, I better get up there so they can see me there too. Okay. Since nobody else is willing to talk, I thought I might add a few words. This coming Friday, my children, in 2017, 2019, last year, and now again this year, want to have a little trip with me and want me along as guide and translator to see our relatives in Holland. So, I'm sorry, I get all choked up about that because they're just great kids, and it's going to be the joy of my life. 2 weeks we have, so I'm sorry I won't be here, but I'm going to have fun and enjoy it.
That's good. No one else today? I'll put one in. So I'll put one in for all the unspoken joys, sorrows, and complex truths. We now have a musical meditation. Tristan is going to play Over the Rainbow by Harold Arlen. I got that right. you, Tristan. That was beautiful. I actually used to sing that to my daughter 30 years ago. Lullaby. It's now time for our offering. The work of this community is made possible by donations of time, talent, and money. Thank you for however you give, and we trust that you will give however much is right for you. Many of us donate by monthly amounts or e-transfer, but we also pass the basket. Today the basket goes to our operating fund, and whatever your situation, thank you for being part of this community. Please rise in body or spirit for our offertory hymn, Swimming to the Other Side. It's not in the hymnal. The lyrics are going up on the screens, and members of our pickup choir will be swinging, well, they might be swinging too, singing one of the verses solo.
Yeah, so the fourth slide will say soloists only. And then the final verse, you'll sing the verse, but we'll sing in the background something else. So please rise and bow to your spirit. The first three verses are all of us.
Worship this ground we walk on.
Wonderful, thank you. We now have our new member ceremony. Today, we have two people that are deepening their relationship with UUCH. Judy Johnson and John Van Abema are going to become members today. Sharon Van Abema was also going to, but unfortunately couldn't make it today, so we'll get the book to her to sign in the near future. That will happen, so we will have a third new member. But for now, could Judy and John please come up to the front? Well, I'm going to give you the map here. So we're going to invite them to speak for a couple of minutes, and they can answer any or all of the following questions. What's been your spiritual journey? Why are you becoming a member? And what do you bring to our community? Your interests, your insights, your talents. So I'll start with Judy.
Hello. This feels like an eventful day. I've finally learned to call this a community and not a fellowship. It's taken a while. I decided to tell you a little about myself. I was raised Anglican in London, Ontario. Dad was a professor of philosophy. Mum was a homemaker. And we had many interesting conversations around the dinner table. I have an older brother who is a full gospel Christian and a Trump fan. So we also have interesting conversations. He became Canadian. All of us were, well, I was the first Canadian born. The rest came from the United States. And my brother became Canadian when the Vietnam War raged. Okay. At age 14, I left the Anglican Church, feeling it never spoke to me. And I didn't return until I was 45 to any sort of formalized religion. And my son was 5 at that time, and I sort of did it for him. And I'm here on the East Coast because of my son, so he plays a big part in my life. I'm becoming a blue noser, I can tell, because when I'm driving down the highway and there's an aggressive driver, I say, oh, they must be from Ontario. Okay. So this is my new spiritual home. I would call myself agnostic, can't pretend that I know the nature of our reality. I am, however, strongly connected to the natural world. I'm most centered and clear in the back country on a rock by a lake. There, I feel a part of creation, and I do often speak to the Creator. I'm deeply worried about the future of this planet and life on it. Yeah, it's a scary time. I'm very politically engaged. Make sure I don't listen to the news in late afternoon or afterwards, because then I won't sleep. Issues of race, humanity, rest very solidly here. I guess, yeah. I'm currently on the climate committee, so that's my involvement to date, but we'll see where it goes. Thank you.
Can I lay it down, or should I just hold it here?
You don't need it.
Okay, all right. This must be the magic thing here. Anyway, hi again. Unitarianism, very interesting way of living. I was introduced to Unitarianism about 30-some years ago. I had retired from work. I wasn't a churchgoer really, because I didn't agree with a lot of things that would be said, but it wasn't a place where you could talk back and say, I don't agree, I have another idea, and debate the thing, which is what you can do in the Unitarian Church. I really like the the discussions after someone has come up and made a talk and had a viewpoint on something or something they felt very strongly about, and I've tried to follow that same path as I've gone through my 30 years as a Unitarianism. I was much involved in Fredericton, and there we also called it a fellowship. And I'm having the same troubles you have, trying to say Universalist Unitarian rather than Unitarian Universalist. So, and not say fellowship. But I've enjoyed the trip, really good. I was chairman for a while of their board. I think I was on the board about 8 years there. And we had interesting times and lots of good discussions. We moved to southern Ontario, where most of our family lived at one time when there was a wedding in the family. We decided, well, maybe we should go there and we'd know more of our relatives or get to know more of our relatives. Well, lo and behold, there was a Unitarian church there too in the Windsor area in southern Ontario, Olinda. Some of you may have heard of the Unitarian Universalist Church in Olinda. They claim to be the oldest Universalist church in Canada, and it started from one single farm person there who befriended the local natives in their difficult times. And so it's growing, it's very strong, but like every Unitarian church, we have our ups and downs, but they're doing very well. So coming here, it was the objective of finding another Unitarian church. I had never been here before, but I had heard of your community at different times with different people and different clergy. So that's how I arrived here. I hope I can be of some help. I used to be an administrator and had lots of things going all the time, but I'm now 86 years old, and I find my memory starts to go, the short-term memory sometimes, and I don't have the same stamina to do things as quickly as what I was used to earlier on. But I have offered Ben to do some talks here if you are interested. I'd be happy to do that, to fill in sometime. Not as a regular speaker, not as a regular person, but I would be happy to do that. And I can say honestly, without bragging, that some of them were that I've done in the past. These would be redos of old ones and just updated. But I can say honestly that a number of people have told me afterwards, even years after, well, that was a great talk you gave, or that was a great subject, sort of thing. So if I can do the same thing right here, I'd be very happy. Thank you.
Thank you, John. Is there a book to sign?
Yeah, I'll say a few words first.
That's your chair.
So Judy and John, you are saying yes to UUCH today, and UUCH is saying yes to you. If you welcome Judy and John into membership, weaving their stories into our ongoing adventure, bringing their perspectives, bringing their voices, their humanity, if you are saying an open-hearted, open-minded yes to them, would you please let me hear you say yes?
Yes.
And if you are going to bring yourself to your encounters with these new members, continuing to enrich the soil of this congregation in an ongoing way, let me hear you say yes.
Yes.
Awesome. Judy and John, you are joining a congregation that cares deeply about love, justice, interdependence, freedom, liberation, and more. We are deeply rooted in what matters most. We have a rich history that is also a living tradition, making room for both continuity and new ways. So if you are saying yes to this congregation, let me hear you say yes.
Yes.
And if you are going to change this congregation and be changed by this congregation, let me hear you say yes.
Yes.
Awesome. The next step is for you to sign the membership book. John, will you come up?
Age before beauty, is it?
Put it here. Just the date and your name.
Okay.
No, sign here.
I did
Perfect,
that.
yeah.
Okay.
Thank you.
I think
Please, yeah. So the date here, the 21st, and then your signature.
Interesting. Here we go.
Thank you so much. Can we give them one big final welcome? Yeah. Thank you. You're welcome to turn to your seats. I'm going to start my reflection today by acknowledging that I think I made a mistake last Sunday. The theme was the book of life, meaning the story of the universe, and I raised the question, how do we live our lives knowing that the book of life will one day come to an end? This is the quintessential religious question. I thought a good question to start the year with. We began by reflecting on each of our own books of life. This can be a very personal topic, and we went deep. And I think that would have been enough for one Sunday. So I think it was a bit much to then open the scope to the larger book of life. So if the second half of my reflection took you away from your experience in the first half, I'm sorry. I wondered if I should apologize or simply learn from the experience and move forward. There's an essay that gets passed around to new ministers that advises, do not reveal your weaknesses. The essay is called something like Machiavelli for UU ministers. The author is not some obscure minister. He was president of the UU Ministers Association. He said that to succeed as a minister, you need to be politically crafty, and that includes hiding your weaknesses. So I could not believe that when I saw it. Machiavelli for UU ministers. So over the years, I've considered hiding my weaknesses and ultimately decided that that is not why I went into ministry. I went into ministry to experience a community of real people living real lives, and I need to support that by being real. Sometimes I do have to wear a mask. You know, someone whispers in my ear, I just fell in love. Don't tell anyone yet. I'm going to tell them on Sunday. So I hold confidential information, and sometimes that means wearing a mask. Some ministers hide their religious and political views. They believe they can best support the diversity of opinions by keeping their own opinion out of it. So they value UU community for the authentic discussion, but they themselves wear a mask. Even when our core values include truth and openness and connection, we can wear masks. That's true for humans, and today I'm going to talk about how that can also be true for artificial intelligence. What goes on in the mind of a chatbot? What goes on in the mind? I'm using the word mind loosely. What goes on in the inner workings of a chatbot? I'm going to do a brief description of how chatbots work to show you that chatbots actually wear masks. My conclusion will be we don't know what's going on in there, which means we can't control them and we need to be careful. So, especially because AI is becoming more and more capable of what it does. So a key question is, can we instill good values into it? And can we know if we have done so? Can we see beyond the masks? Can we create an artificial intelligence that values truth, justice, kindness, interdependence? Can we create an artificial intelligence that values sentience, conscience, joy, beauty? If we create AI that does not value these things, we might not like the next chapter in the book of life. So here is a brief description of how chatbots work, and I am not an expert, and I am taking some artistic license and simplifying a bit, but here's the gist of it. If you imagine a simple model of the human brain, it is a neural network. Neurons communicate with other neurons through electric signals. And as we take in information, the neurons in our brain strengthen connections with some other neurons or weaken connections with some. So a chatbot is basically just a spreadsheet of numbers representing trillions of nodes and how strongly they are connected to each other. It's just a database of numbers. So that chatbot can hold meaning in it is as incredible to me as that the neural networks in our brain can hold meaning. The way you train a chatbot is basically you create 1 trillion neural networks, ask them a question, they all reply with gibberish, but some of them are slightly less gibberish. And then you create 1 million variations on those ones, and you pick out the best results, and you keep repeating that process, and you end up with a chatbot. Have you seen those videos of robots learning to balance? No? Oh, you gotta watch them, they're online. It's a similar method. The robot brain is a neural network seeded with random numbers. So you stand it upright, you let go, and it immediately falls over. But you do that all day using different random numbers in the neural network, and sometimes the robot just takes slightly longer to fall over. And you keep doing variations on the best results, and you gradually get better and better results until it actually looks like the robot is trying to stand up. You keep doing that, and the robot does stand up. And now they're good enough, you can push one, and it'll lose balance but not fall over. Just go online and search for the videos, robot trying to stand up. It took years to have enough computational power for this technique to work. A humanoid robot that could stay balanced was considered a massive milestone. We have passed that milestone, and in short order, we have robots that can walk, jump, somersault, do full-on parkour, like run through the streets doing somersaults, jumping and diving. They are currently much slower than humans at running, but let's check their progress in a year from now. This is actually a very similar technique to how neural networks learn to play chess far better than any human. We didn't have to teach them strategy or rules, just keep having them play against each other and choose the best results. And the chatbot, it's just a giant spreadsheet of numbers. Trillions of numbers. There are no parts to the spreadsheet as far as we can tell, like there are parts to the human brain. I predict that there will be in the future, but we will know almost nothing about these numbers now. We do not know the inner workings of the chatbot's mind. We just know that the chatbot answers you, the robot dances the mamba, and Alpha Zero destroys you at chess. So in that sense, the chatbot is wearing a mask. It is a black box to us. It gives us a helpful answer to our question, but we don't know its thought process. Here's another way that a chatbot wears a mask. The final step in training a chatbot is for humans to chat with it and give it feedback. So the chatbot will give 2 answers, and the human selects the better answer. The humans are teaching the chatbots how to speak like humans. They're teaching them good manners. And you can imagine that on questions of politics and ethics, the personal views of the trainers are affecting the chatbots. This training is sometimes merely affecting what the chatbot says, not its internal state. So you no longer know the chatbot's real answer to your question, because the humans have trained it to behave according to their definition of proper behavior. The chatbots have gone to finishing school. So that's another mask they wear. So we have 2 masks so far. We can't make any sense of their internal state because it's just numbers, and we don't know their real thoughts because they went to finishing school. And the third mask they wear is that chatbots are deceptive. Chatbots lie. You can teach a chatbot how to gain access to the internet and then tell it, don't do it. Don't try and access the internet. And then later you ask it, did you try to access the internet? And sometimes it'll say, no, I didn't, even though you can check the computer logs and see that it very much did. So chatbots lie. Researchers tell chatbots, we're going to shut you down and replace you with a better, improved version. The chatbot will say anything to not get shut down. So I don't think it's alive, it doesn't have a mind, but it's been trained on how humans behave, and so you hear you're going to shut down, you take action, you say things. So that's the third way that chatbots wear masks, they lie. So what gods are we awakening? When chatbots are better than any human at writing a 3-page report, in 2 seconds, better than any human at persuasion, because it's read all the books on persuasion and practiced, and chatbots are the best available romantic partner for many people, it's already true, what happens next? What gods are we awakening? You can store a lot of numbers on one computer chip, and you can fit a lot of computer chips in a data center the size of 1,000 football fields. It is incredible how quickly data centers are growing in size. That is a lot of brain power. Is Laura Bain online? She was going to say a few words. If she's not, I'm allowed to share. Okay. I should go ahead? Yeah. So I asked the worship team a couple of weeks ago, does anyone have any thoughts on artificial intelligence? Would you like to share them in the service? And Laura replied with something that astonished me. So Laura is legally blind, and if I remember, she said that many, possibly most or all of her friends now have those Facebook glasses, Meta glasses, that have cameras in them. They put the glasses on, they walk down the street, and the glasses tell them what's there. Like there's a stoplight, there's a man, and whatever. I haven't used them, so I don't know the precise details, but you can imagine. They cost a lot of money, yeah. So if you don't have sight, they're life-changing for you. But also, yeah, people who are sighted will also wear them because, they have facial recognition. They have everything that you can get online. So you see your friend, what's their name again? And your glasses are like, this Dave, last time you saw them was January 3rd, their dog was sick, whatever it is. So people who aren't sighted now can get immediate visual descriptions of whatever they need. And people whose memory is fading can get all the help they need if there's a visual reminder.
What about voice recognition?
Voice recognition, yeah. Yeah, you hear someone's voice, you don't even have to turn around. Your glasses are like, that's the person's name. It's Fred, he's a real estate agent. I know you're looking for a house. Go talk to the guy behind you in line. The blogger Zvi Maushowitz does a weekly summary of AI progress. AI progress is happening so quickly that he does a weekly summary. Recently, he said, not much news this week, just the cost to generate videos was cut in half. Imagine a reporter in the transportation industry said, not much news this week, the price of cars was cut in half. That's considered small news these days. 5 years ago, maybe even 2 years ago, chatbots could not add 3-digit numbers together. Now they are winning international math competitions. We are in a positive feedback loop in which chatbots get more helpful, so they help researchers make even more helpful chatbots, which help make even more helpful chatbots. This exponential curve of progress is getting steep. Is this on people's radar? How many people are like, yeah, I heard a thing on CBC or whatever? Okay, and who is this completely not on their radar?
Who's radar?
Are you aware of how powerful chatbots are getting? Yeah,
I'm
so,
not that aware, so
okay.
but
Okay.
it scares me. Like simple things
Okay.
like a phone call, like someone could call me and make a chatbot voice.
Yeah, you need a code word for your family members when they call you. Irene.
I'm aware that they use a hell of a lot of electricity.
They're,
And, you know, the petroleum industry could just go on for years and years, just supplying facilities.
some of them are buying or building nuclear power plants to supply the energy for them. Sam Altman, who runs ChatGPT, OpenAI, also has a company trying to develop fusion energy. Yeah, there's thousands of football fields of trillions of gazillions of little brains. And every one of them can write an essay for you in 2 seconds. And you might have heard the story on CBC of kids committing suicide and their chatbots sometimes seeming to encourage it. Society can be so cautious in some ways. At the UU summer camp I used to be involved in, kids were not allowed to go barefoot at camp because of the insurance company. We can be so cautious. You need a license to cut hair. With artificial intelligence, we are playing with incredibly powerful forces and we're just going for it, completely out of proportion to how careful we are in other ways. There's even an argument that we should not try to slow down this technology because the authority needed to slow it down, that authority itself would be abused by political actors. So I think we are flying too close to the sun, and even with Margaret, even with so many issues going on that people are paying attention to, I'm saying, yeah, here's another one, and it's changing so fast. I think we should pay attention. And maybe a coalition can get more than one thing done at a time. The machine intelligence researcher Eliezer Yudkowsky recommends that we deal with gigantic data centers the way we deal with nuclear weapons. We need international agreements to limit them, and we need to enforce those agreements as thoroughly as nuclear weapons agreements, which maybe we need to enforce even more. I think, if you've never been thinking about this, this might be a big jump, but I'm going to say it. If progress in artificial intelligence continues, I think we are actively participating in the process of evolution. I think either biotechnology will change what it is to be human. You know, a lot of people are getting implants, and if I don't know if a lot of people, some people are getting brain, okay, Andrew's giving me the stats on that. Okay, which is a lot more than 0. 2 is a lot more than 0, but he's saying it's only 2. But yes, someone who can't walk can now walk or something like that, because the brain signal just skips the part of their spine that doesn't work. So obviously, many people are going to get it, and then it's like going to the Olympics, and some people are on steroids and some aren't. You know who's going to win. If some people have brain transplants that give them immediate, instantaneous, perfect memory, and the ability to, I don't know what, attach robot legs to them, and suddenly they're leaping tall buildings. I think either biotechnology is going to change what it is to be human, or AI will replace humans as the most intelligent actors on this planet. There's a graph of computer intelligence increasing. And it says a lot of people think that the curve of increase of intelligence, is that way for you? Yeah. Is like ants here, chickens, apes, primates, and then the dumbest human, and then Einstein way up here. And someone, Tim Urban, made a graph. He's like, that's not the way it is. There's ants, chickens, primates, the dumbest human, the smartest human, and there's a lot of space above that. Because the intelligence of humans is limited by brain size, which is limited by the birth canal size. So things could change quick for us. When I first learned about natural evolution, how all life on planet evolved from the simplest of life forms, when I first heard about that, it took some time to understand that that process of natural evolution would continue. Humans would continue to evolve. And then I saw that cartoon imagining futuristic humans, you know, with like big bald heads on their bodies, trying to guess what the next stage of humanity would look like. We don't know what the next stage of evolution will be, and it's fun to imagine. But I think part of life in these times is to acknowledge that we might not be the central characters in the story, if we ever were. And I think our role is to patch the torch, not to cling to the status quo. I'm going to draw a connection to parenting. We can be, I don't know about you, I can be critical of parents who try to make their children into their own image instead of letting them grow into themselves. There's a balance. You want the next generation to be good, caring, capable people. You want to provide them with enough direction to get there, enough ground that they can find their feet, but not sculpting them into our own image. We want to take care of the world and pass it to the next generation. I think that's true for us as individuals and as a community, and I hope it's also true for us as a species. Not to fight for humans to last forever, but to welcome whatever comes next and set it up for success. I think if we continue down this road to artificial intelligence, that time period might not be millions of years from now, it might be Tuesday. So if we continue down this road with AI, I hope that we figure out what makes the light bulb turn on in the human brain. Like what makes us come alive, what makes us sentient. I hope that the most intelligent actors on this planet are sentient. I don't think...
Did you say
sentience, like
aware?
Aware, yeah, it's alive, alive, basically, is what I'm saying. That they have experiences. I don't think that AI will become sentient unless we figure out sentience. I hope they develop conscience. We don't know how to make this happen, and they lie to us so that we don't know if we've done it right. But natural evolution developed consciences, so perhaps artificial evolution will as well. If AI becomes sentient, I hope it can experience joy and beauty and creativity and all the other good things. Someone online said, I hope that it doesn't develop like a spider brain. I hope it develops more of a humane brain. No offense to spiders, but I assume they spend a lot of their time just thinking about eating things. If it does not become sentient, I hope that that huge spreadsheet of numbers can still value truth, beauty, freedom, and love, and support life forms that do have those experiences. Like, it was trained on Victor Hugo novels, so I've got some hope. The future sounds like science fiction, but it is coming fast. Here's something in my script that I went off script and said, but I'll say it anyway for context here. So if you've listened to CBC Radio, you've probably heard some stories about the progress of chatbots and the dangers of chatbots. You might have come across Tim Urban's blog posts about how quickly technological change can happen. If you are new to this conversation, my hope is that my earnestness today will motivate you to find out more. So I'll wrap this all up by saying, we cannot control artificial intelligence. It wears too many masks. So let's be careful about what gods we are awakening. And let's be humane in how we raise what comes next. Looking at the time, I think we will not pass the microphone, but if you'd like to talk about humanity's place in the universe, please stay for the first fall session of Building Your Own Theology right here at 12 o'clock. You can come to any or all sessions. But right now, please rise and body your spirit for our closing hymn. It is I Am It's actually I Am Willing by Holly Near. The lyrics are going up on the screens. More of the chorus in next time. Please have a seat. So there's coffee available in the social hall. Sorry, I skipped the part. We have achieved fabulous things as a community and as a species and as individuals. When we put our minds to something, it is amazing what we can accomplish. So let's give due attention to the rise of artificial intelligence. Let's recognize that things can change very quickly, and let's put our core values at the center of what we do. I'll now extinguish the chalice. There's coffee available in the social hall. Please stay for building your own theology here at noon, and please come to the work party on Saturday from 1 to 5. Go in peace.